Last night, Barrett, you're sitting next to Tony Morrow, and Tony's telling me about what an incredible person you are, and how you were so prescient.
That's because I gave him an important tip.
That's right. So I want to, for the purposes of the tape, that important tip, the story you told Tony that he ran with and looked pretty good.
Well, I told him he ought to do a story on John Roberts, who was working for me. I'll tell you a funny story about that. A young woman from Virginia Law School came to me and said, you know, Mr. Prettyman, I'd like to join your appellate group, but I'm just not sure that I can rise in it. Once I get in it, is there any place I can go? And I said, just a minute, and I reached over, I pulled out a brief. It was a petition for cert. And signing it were me, 3 other lawyers, and then John G. Roberts Jr. I said, don't worry, you can rise. So, I must say that when I look up at the court today and see John Roberts not only sitting in the middle, but head of the 3rd branch of government, I feel like yelling, John, get out of there before people come and get you. Yeah. It's quite a thrill. Yeah, now, I love the guy, and I respect him, and he's a lot of fun, but I don't agree with anything he's written. So, you know, it's kind of divided loyalty there.
Now, what was your scoop to Tony Morrow? Why did you tell Tony, what made you think to even suggest to Tony Morrow that he had to write the story about John Roberts, because someday people will look back on that?
I sat with John Roberts every day for lunch for years. Whenever he did not have another engagement, he came to lunch with a special table that we had of high poobahs from the firm. And you weren't elected to it or anything, you just automatically went to it because the people who were there wanted to be together and talk about politics and talk about office politics as well as national and international politics. And so it was just fun to be at that table, and John Roberts enjoyed it as much as anybody. And during that time, I had heard him expound on virtually everything. And it was clear to me that he was exactly what the Republicans were, what they believed and what they were interested in and what they would love to have at a higher position. Mm-hmm. I mean, he espoused every theory that they were espousing. And it just seemed to me that if they were looking for an ideal person for a place on the court, this would be the person, because he was smarter than hell, he was agreeable, he was funny, he had a great personality, he was lovable. He was just an ideal person for them to pick for anything president on down. Yeah. And so that's what geared me.